It started as a bizarre blip. A stray object tossed on a WNBA court in Atlanta. Most thought it was a one-off, the kind of oddball moment that gets a few laughs online and fades away. But then, it happened again. And again. And again. For separate WNBA games, in just over a week, interrupted by the exact same shocking stunt, a sex toy flying out of the stands and onto the court. For the players, it was dangerous. For the coaches, it was infuriating. For the league, it was a nightmare. And now, we know it wasn't random. Reports claim this bizarre trend was no accident, but an orchestrated stunt tied to a shadowy online group looking to turn women's basketball into a marketing circus. The first incident came on July 29 in Atlanta. The Dream were hosting the Golden State Valkyries when, in the middle of the action, a bright-colored sex toy landed on the hardwood. Play stopped. Fans gasped. Security scrambled. Barely anyone had time to process what happened before another one appeared at a game in Chicago just days later. Then Los Angeles. And finally, back to Atlanta, where the fourth incident hit during the closing seconds of the Dream's blowout win over the Chicago Sky. This wasn't some random coincidence. It was becoming a disturbing pattern, one that no other professional sports league in America had faced before. Rumors spread fast. Was this the work of pranksters chasing clout? A weird bet gone wrong? Then came the jaw-dropper. An online meme-driven cryptocurrency group calling itself a Green Dildo Coin publicly claimed responsibility. According to members, the stunts were part of a guerrilla marketing campaign, the kind designed to make memes funny again and get attention at any cost. They weren't just targeting the WNBA. They were using it. Playing on outdated stereotypes, sexualizing the sport, and hoping the shock factor would go viral. And unfortunately, it worked. Clips racked up millions of views across TikTok, Instagram, and X. If the crypto crew thought this would stay in the harmless fun category, they were wrong. In Georgia, 23-year-old Delbert Carver was arrested after admitting to throwing a sex toy during the July 29 game, and again on August 1. Police say he faced charges of disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, public indecency, and indecent exposure. In Phoenix, 18-year-old Caden Lopez was cuffed after tossing a bright green toy that struck an adult male and landed near a minor. He now faces assault charges, disorderly conduct, and public display of obscene material. These weren't internet pranks anymore. They were criminal cases. And the message from law enforcement was clear: expect jail time, not just social media fame. For the athletes, this went beyond inconvenience, it was about respect. Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, who nearly got hit by one of the objects during a game against the Sparks, vented on her podcast. "How are we ever going to get taken seriously? We're fighting for respect in this league, and then that happens." Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve didn't hold back either. "This has been going on for centuries, the sexualization of women. This is the latest version of it. It's not funny. We're not the butt of the joke. They're the problem." The frustration was raw. And it was growing. The WNBA wasted no time issuing a stern warning. Any fan caught throwing an object, of any kind, onto the court will face immediate ejection, a minimum 1-year ban from WNBA arenas, arrest and prosecution under local laws. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert called the incidents totally unacceptable and reaffirmed that player safety is the league's top priority. You might be wondering, why can't arena security just catch this before it happens? The answer is frustrating. Most of these sex toys are made without metal, which means metal detectors can't flag them. Unless every bag is opened and every fan is patted down, these items can slip through. Event security leaders admit it's a balancing act. The need for thorough screening versus the pressure to get thousands of fans into the building quickly. And in this case, the trolls exploited the gap perfectly. This isn't just about 4 games. It's about how women's sports are still treated as open targets for ridicule. It's about online culture rewarding bad behavior when it goes viral. And it's about people willing to embarrass an entire league for a meme and a few retweets. What's telling is that the same stunt hasn't been pulled in the NBA, NFL, or MLB, even though those leagues also deal with rowdy fans. This was aimed squarely at a women's league, which makes it less about humor, and more about disrespect. So where does this really end? Does it stop with a few arrests and some stern statements from the league? Will tighter security and 1-year bans be enough to scare off the next person looking for their 5 seconds of online fame? Or will the trolls simply adapt, finding new ways to sneak in, to interrupt, to turn someone else's hard work into their personal stage? Right now, the WNBA is staring down one of the strangest and most frustrating challenges in its history. This isn't just about keeping the court clear. This is a fight for safety, yes, but it's also a fight for respect. Every player who steps onto that hardwood has trained for years, sacrificed, battled through injuries, and put in the work. Every coach, every staff member, every fan who shows up is there because they believe in the game. And now, all of them are watching to see if the league can take control before this sideshow becomes a permanent stain on the season. Because this is bigger than a prank. Bigger than a meme. It's a direct test of how seriously the world takes women's sports. If incidents like this are brushed off as just jokes, the message it sends is that women athletes can be interrupted, mocked, or sexualized without consequence. And that's a dangerous precedent. These aren't nameless, faceless players running around for someone's entertainment. These are professionals at the highest level of their sport. They deserve the same protection, the same respect, and the same dignity as any male athlete in any league. The court should be a place where their talent speaks louder than any distraction, where the headlines are about game-winning shots, not about what someone threw from the stands. And that's why this moment matters. Because if the WNBA can shut this down decisively, it sends a clear message: women's sports are not a playground for cheap stunts. But if it drags on, it risks feeding into a cycle where the game itself takes a back seat to the spectacle. In the end, this isn't about toys on a court. It's about whether women's sports can thrive without being reduced to someone else's punchline, and whether the respect these athletes have fought for will finally become the standard, not the exception.